There's been some very interesting price action recently in the CS market, with a lot of things starting to blow up and some things starting to cool off. I mean, the M4 Hot Rod is one of the skins that has somehow completely held up through the recent price action. It's up 60% over the past month. For whatever reason, people love this thing. Now, this is not a chart I would buy at all. I would absolutely be selling here, but for this thing to spike up this much in price, dip back down, and now be at the same level, is just very interesting. So let's talk about what skins you could start to consider buying and what's actually crashing in price right now. If you want to buy skins or cash out your skins instantly at a great price, check out skin.land, where you could also get a free $10 bonus on your first sale. Skin.land is a site I use to insta-sell skins myself. They offer incredible prices and the process is very easy. Just make sure to click that link at the top of the description for your $10 bonus or enter code CHF on the site. Then go to your profile and enter your trade URL and you're all ready to sell and buy. Then select the skins you want to cash out instantly. Just click the skins you want to sell, select your payment method, either crypto or various bank transfer methods if you're in Europe. Then just confirm the trade the bot sends you on Steam instantly, and you're done. The entire process only takes around 5 minutes max, and receiving the money typically doesn't take more than 20 minutes for crypto. For bank transfers, it might take a few business days though. You can also buy skins for 30% cheaper than the Steam market value on Skinland as well. They have a ton of deposit methods, so whether you're looking to buy or sell, check them out with that link at the top of the description and get your $10 bonus today. Well, for starters, let's look at the high tiers. And the high tiers are holding up great as per usual. We'll start with the Gungnir in this video, not one I look at as often, but it's looking great. It looks completely fine. Obviously, it had a massive hype up like the rest of everything in the market, but it was a very quick move, and it's holding up ridiculously well. Not surprising. It's going to continue to happen. It's completely fine. That skin's going to be up long term. That's how high tiers are, and that's how pretty much every single one of those charts has looked. Dragon Lore dipped back down to like 7 grand, maybe like 6,800 or something. And it was back here, I guess. Where was it? It was somewhere in here. Yeah, like 6,800. It's already back at 7,900. It's just such, anytime you see a dip in the high tiers, it's just such an easy buy. And now it's pretty much just consolidating at all-time highs before the next hype spike happens again. This is probably eventually going to be 10 grand for a field test of Dragon Lore. Would not shock me at all. Not everybody has a $10,000 budget though, and that's alright. We could look at the AK Redline as well, one of the most liquid skins in the game that people used to trade for a ridiculously long time. I think this thing is going to stay expensive at this point. The Phoenix case is getting more expensive. Of course, this thing does have a lot of supply, but it's a skin you should be completely fine holding for the long term. And it's completely retraced its move from the hype spike, like in the positive direction, I guess. It went through the crash and has so much demand that people bought it all the way back up to $40. And we've seen that in a lot of different skins at this point, specifically a lot of liquid skins, a lot of high tier. That's not a high tier, this is more of a liquid skin as well, but we haven't seen it in everything. The Karambit Dopplers, one of the skins I have told you guys 100 times at this point that I sold at like pretty much all-time highs. I think they got to 4 grand. I sold it like 3,600, which was great because it was a very quick move. If you see a chart like this, I will be a bit scared because we see the massive hype spike, we see a drop back down in price, we see some buying, but then we see sellers are still in control, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of people willing to pay this price for these things still, which makes sense. $2,700, $2,800 for just a normal Phase 3 Karambit Doppler is a lot. It's kind of insane. Maybe once they start to get back to like 2 grand, it could be a fine level to buy at, and I don't know, depending on how violent the move is when we get down there, like if we see a quick, bounce up in price, then maybe I'd consider buying, but it's going to be such a quick move that it'll probably be hard. But I mean, if you think 2 grand is a fine spot to buy this thing, I wouldn't say it's horrible. I would like for them to be 1,500 again. I think that's too much to ask for, which is why I'm going to be super patient. And anytime you see a chart that looks like this, I would say right now, it's too risky. You got to take your time with something like this. Don't be in a rush to buy. But the good thing is there's more skins that really don't have charts like that than do. But another sort of skin, and I guess it's gloves, so it's not really a skin, but they're another chart like this. They had their massive hype spike in price. They dipped back down, got bought up, and it doesn't still look like there's a lot of demand for these skins. They're just slowly dropping off in price, and I think that's going to continue happening until they reach somewhere near these pre-hype levels. Whether that be the same, let me try and zoom in on it. I still can't zoom in on it, like 3,100 for these things. That's the spot where you could consider buying. You don't want to consider buying these at 4 grand. Of course, the glove case has gotten significantly more expensive, so buying them at 3 grand does somewhat make sense. Best case scenario, you're looking for 2 grand, but I think like the high tiers they're not going to come all the way back down. Everything else in the game is so much more expensive at this point. It's just unlikely. Unless something causes a massive crash in the market, which I don't think is going to happen because there's so many players at this point. I think hoping for dips that low is really too much to ask for. Now, the good thing is, some of my favorite skins in the game are old Operation skins. The Icarus Fell, the Blue Phosphor, the Mac 10 Fade, which I don't believe is technically an Operation skin. I think it's just old collection skin, like the Glock Fade and stuff like that. I think these skins, and I showed this thing off in a previous video, these are the skins you just hold for a very long time, and they do great. After the hype spike, sure, they're dying off a little bit, but look at that long-term chart. It's great. This thing's probably going to come back down in price, actually. I didn't realize the chart looked like this. I thought it was a lot more chill. But bit of a parabolic uptrend, but these are the kind of skins you just buy for 5 years and forget. It was $10 in 2022. It's $60 now. If you can find a chart with just consolidation like this, it's absolutely great. I thought the Mac 10 Mac 10 Fade did have a chart like that. It does not. So let me find another skin. Actually, before I do that, I want to take another look at the Howl. I said I bought a Howl, and I actually ended up not buying it. Let me show you guys why. Because I forgot to accept 2 different trade offers. I said I was going to accept the first one. I forgot to because it was at 12 in the morning. I was asleep, and it only lasted for 6 hours. And I forgot to accept the second one because it was at 12 in the morning, and I was asleep. And it only lasted 6 hours. But the good news is, I probably wouldn't have accepted the second one anyway because this thing has dropped in price quite a bit over the past week. And I'd be paying like $100 more than it was worth. So I guess I'm going to take my time on the Howl. It doesn't look like there's a ridiculous amount of demand. Once again, we see that same sort of thing happening that we saw in a bunch of other skins. So if it gets back to like $4 grand, then maybe I'd consider buying. But for the Howl, for whatever reason, I don't want to say it doesn't have as much demand, but every time it has a massive hype spike, it like completely retraces the move. So we'll see if it gets back down to like $4 grand. That's the spot where I'd easily buy it. 3,600 would once again be great, but I don't think that's happening. But one of the Operation skins that I want to talk about, and this is kind of a more expensive one, unfortunately, is the Blue Phosphor. And it's kind of held up well. It's once again another one of those charts where you see it bounce back in price and it drops off a little bit. It's a skin you bid at if it's $600, and then you just wait. And if it gets higher, you could take profit, or you could hold it for a super long period of time. Because with old Operation skins like this, a lot of time with the more expensive ones, they just sit super sideways, and then they just have a massive blow up. Maybe it'll consolidate at a higher level. It probably will. Maybe it won't. But we've seen this in the M4 Hot Rod, everything like that. Will the Blue Phosphor like get to $800 and just sit sideways for a super long period of time? It might. And I'd say, I mean, sure, I guess it's worth the risk, but the lowest it's going to go is like $550, and that's the ideal level you want to buy at. Another skin that actually is held up a lot better is the Emerald Jormungandr, and this is because it's in the same collection, oh my god, as the Gungnir. So the great thing about this is if you don't have 15 grand to buy a Gungnir, you could buy the Negev, you could buy the P90, you could buy anything in this collection, and they essentially just mimic the price of the Gungnir, and the skin's more expensive because people trade up. And I mean, sure, they're kind of ugly, but the Deagle's great. A lot of people use it as a play skin, and of course, it can be traded up to the Negev, which can be traded up to the Gungnir. So if you think the Gungnir is going to get more expensive, but you can't afford it, buy something like this. Absolutely great to hold these for the long term. They are some of the best performing skins in the game. And sure, you could note after hype spikes, a lot of time they crash back down, but the Gungnir is holding up really well. So if you think the Gungnir is going to hold up, this thing's going to hold up as well. And if you notice it like drop back down in price and the Gungnir is still holding up, stock up on these things because they're great to hold for the long term. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. That kind of covers everything that I wanted to go over. We have Season 2 ending in just a short while in game. So we'll see what happens there if we get some new skins and everything like that. Hopefully we do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Check out the sponsor. Link at the top of the description. Peace.